They get kicked out of their home. I mean, it just has us in tears half the time with some of these. And to hear some of you gripe about the prices and spend all this time making a nasty comment, well, you're just so lucky. Get over yourself.
Hello, today we are responding to the fallout from our video on Wednesday on rising food prices in 2021. And Mom had to take a few moments to calm herself. Me, I was just like, get over here, we're doing a video on this. So here's the thing. So go back and watch our video if you didn't see it on rising food prices in 2021. And I pretty much said, your grocery bill doesn't really have to be going up. It's your choice if your grocery bill is going up. Oh dear, I said it out loud.
Huge amounts, going up huge amounts.
Yeah, I mean, if your grocery bill is going up $20, $30 a month, I could see that. But we have people saying that their grocery bill is going up $100, $400, $500 a month. That's absolutely ridiculous. There's no reason for people to be saying that their grocery bill is going that high.
And they're almost hysterical about it. That's
they
what,
are.
You know,
yeah.
That's what I find interesting is there's almost a hysteria happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In other words, the hysteria is not equal to how bad
reality.
Yeah.
The reality is grocery prices have gone up 2 to 5% depending on the product. That's not what people are saying, though.
Here's hysteria is like 100% and then or 120.
So just to prove our point,
that it's all in the way you look at it and your attitude and the fear factor. The main thing we were trying to emphasize was to not be afraid, not to get angry, and be sensitive and have a pity party and need sympathy, that type of thing. Because when you have the wrong attitude, then you're going to react like everything's negative and everything's bad and everything's bigger than life. And this is the example that shows how two different attitudes with the same situation makes a big difference.
Yeah. And I kid you not, I got these 2 comments, literally one after the other.
She did. I was talking to her on the phone and she said, you won't believe what just popped in here. And she read them to me, so.
From Debbie, you're lucky. I just want to punch people in the nose when they say that we're lucky. You're lucky to be a stay-at-home mom. You're lucky to have your house paid off. No, it's hard work and it's choices. I chose to be a stay-at-home mom to raise my children at home on one income.
And you made sacrifices to do
We
that.
sacrificed so I could be a stay-at-home mom, so we could live on one income, which the majority of my married life was $30,000 to $40,000 a year with 4 kids. So don't give me a pity party. We chose to pay our house off early. Now, those things are all choices. And I'm just going to show you, let me just read this. Debbie says, you're lucky. In North Carolina, our prices have increased steadily. Not only that, we still have shortages at every store. Butter is $5.59 a pound, bacon $9.99. Most canned vegetables are $1.49 each. Ground beef is $6.79 a pound. Butterball turkey on sale this week is $1.49 a pound. Nobody feeling sorry for ourselves, just disappointed our country is in trouble.
And did you tell where she was from?
Yeah, North Carolina. Yeah, I said that. Literally the next comment. I paid 77 cents just today for a dozen eggs at Harris Teeter, owned by Kroger. Butter was on sale for $1.97 a pound. Del Monte green beans and corn, buy 2, get 3 free. Sales in North Carolina are good this week. Shop smart and stock up if you can when there's a good buy. I see prices rising weekly. Now, look at those 2 different comments. She's seeing prices rise, but she's still finding a ton of really good deals.
And that was our point, that you can still get a lot of good stuff. And they were both from the same state.
Same state, same stores. And these people who say, well, I don't have that store in my town. Well, drive to a town that has one. We drove 70 miles each way I sound like my mother. I walked uphill both ways in the snow. But I drove 70 miles each way in the snow in Idaho with 2 toddlers to go to the grocery store. Because the little convenience type grocery store in our town in Idaho had milk for $4.50 a gallon, and that was 25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't going to pay $4.50 a gallon for milk that had been sitting in her freezer, and then she just brought it out today and had been 2 weeks expired.
But see, that's part of the point we were trying to explain. Instead of hearing the point we were trying to make, people were just reacting emotionally, and that's what we said. If you're going to react in fear and anger and with all these emotions, you're not going to hear what we're really trying to say. But the most important thing is you're not going to try to figure out ways to help yourself. And that's the main thing. 25 ways to save money on grocery bills and not have your grocery bill going up. And that first comment, she didn't talk about any of that.
No.
I don't even know if she heard any of that. Mm-mm. I really wonder with some of the comments we were getting, if they even watched the whole video.
No.
Or heard it. I know they didn't hear what we were talking about. It did not register because you see, when you have the anger and the fear, it blocks out any common sense anybody's trying to talk to you, or you're reading, or you're seeing, or anything. And even now, people aren't going to hear that, what we're saying. We can't get it through to you. We're not saying that none of the prices are not rising or anything like that, but everybody's reacting more to what's happening in a higher degree than what it's really happening yet. We're not saying that it's not going to maybe happen and get worse.
That's why we're telling you to get prepared now.
And that's why we're doing this now. But stop reacting like this. Mm-hmm. That's the bottom line. Put the grocery prices, get rid of the numbers, get rid of the prices. I hate that when we have to use numbers. And people want us to do it all the time because it's not the numbers that's important. What's important is, what are you doing about the numbers? What are you doing about your life right now so that you can cope with the numbers when they do happen?
Yeah.
You know, she talked about bacon being 9 something. Well,
Don't buy bacon.
I haven't bought bacon for 5, 6, 7 years because it started getting high back then.
Well, now I just bought bacon and it was $1.50 a pound. But I have not seen bacon for $1.50 a pound. I don't know that I've ever paid $1.50 a pound for bacon. The cheapest I ever remember was $2 a pound like 20 years ago. But just last week, I went and got 20 pounds of bacon at $1.50 a pound.
And you know what? I may have been living in Kansas and I didn't get bacon for $1.50, but I maybe got cereal for 90 cents a box, you know? Just because you're not getting the exact prices for the exact things, you have got to release those numbers and start just saying, what can I get? What can I do? How can I adjust my buying and my stuff? And like Tara said, we gave you 25 ways to do that. And I bet you probably at least 25% of the people from the comments we're getting didn't hear those 25 things.
More like 70%.
70%. But you know, it's like, okay, I'm going to use this example. And I at one point was helping with cleaning a certain place.
So just so you guys know, Mom and Mike and my sister-in-law, we've all done cleaning for side jobs when we needed extra money several times in our lives. So go ahead.
Yeah, and so this one time I was dealing with a couple of young girls, like 13-year-olds. And I'm telling you this story because the people who have been commenting on here have reminded me of an emotional 13-year-old who's going through pre-puberty or puberty type stuff. And that's what these comments are reminding me of. Because listen to what she told me. I said, okay, I had 2 girls working with me. I said, you can vacuum this week, and the next week, the other gal would vacuum. And the first gal said, I told her, I said, you can dust. And she said, okay. And she trots off and starts doing her work. I mean, she's working really good. The second gal says, well, I don't want to vacuum. That's too hard. And I said, well, we have to take turns here vacuuming. Well, then I vacuumed last week. what she'd vacuumed was she did half of a room, and the other gal had done one room and a half a room. I said, but she did more of the room last week, so we got to start somewhere so you can vacuum this week. Well, I don't like to vacuum. I said, well, it has to be done, and we've got to take turns. And so she found out real quick. She thought I would just give in and say, that's fine. But I didn't. And so she said, oh, well, I'm going to be having to leave in 5 minutes, so there's no use me vacuuming because I've got to leave in 5 minutes. And I looked at her and I said, that's fine if you have to leave in 5 minutes, but you're going to get 5 minutes worth of vacuuming done. She didn't even know how to react to that. It was just like she was so mad and so huffy. And so she starts vacuuming, and she got the room pretty much done and walked out into the hallway. And there was another lady down the hall that was doing another section. She said, well, she's going to do that room down there, not me. And I said, no, that's not her job to do that room down there. And she said, well, she's going to do it anyway. And I asked the lady, I said, are you going to do that room? She said, no, I'm just doing the hallway. And this young gal, she finally goes stomping down to the other room to get the vacuuming done. Now, see, she kept coming up with excuses why she couldn't do it, and she was getting mad, and she like, I didn't know what I was talking about, and it wasn't fair. This isn't just. You've got this, and I don't have this, and I shouldn't have to do this and that.
It's
and I
the
thought,
same thing.
it's the same emotional reaction we're getting from all these comments, like a 13-year-old,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're
girl
acting
going through
like middle
puberty.
school kids.
Yeah.
I mean, they really are.
Yeah.
And we've been doing this 20 years. We do this same spiel
all the time.
all the time, almost every year, actually, because everyone thinks that this year is the big crisis. And it is always the same thing.
Same excuses.
Yep.
Same justifying what they're doing. Same saying we don't know what we're talking about because we don't live near them or in the place that they're at, or we haven't been through their situation. I'm sorry. Most of you on there, you're picking the wrong person in my situation to be saying that I don't understand what it's like not to be able to afford food and stuff. You're picking the wrong person here.
So if you guys haven't seen, check out our Penny Pinch and Mama series where Mom raised 2 teenagers on $500 a month. We also have a video where Mom lived on $750 a month Social Security and how she did that. And she's done it. I mean, and people will give the excuse, well, she paid off her house, so of course she can live on $750 a month. Yes, because when she was working, she focused on getting completely debt-free, so if anything ever happened, she wouldn't have a house payment. Did you do that when you were working and trying to focus to get yourself in a good position when you were working? Most people aren't. And then they get sick or they get disabled or they have to retire and they don't have enough money, and it's their own darn tootin' fault.
And you send these comments in because you're wanting to prove us wrong and to get sympathy from us. And you come to the wrong spot.
You ain't gonna get no sympathy from us.
Sympathy does not do anybody any good. What did I read to you this morning about that? Sympathy is Christian sympathy is the way to just, when you're having a pity party, and Christian sympathy put together is a good way to a slow death type thing, because it gets you nowhere. It doesn't do a thing. And how many of you have a computer that you wrote these comments on? This is what I don't
Internet
understand.
service.
If you're
A
so
cell phone.
worried about all the grocery prices, get off the grocery prices and think, how can I save money so I can pay for these grocery prices? But none of you have thought of that really, probably. At least I don't get that from the comments. But you're talking to us on a computer or a smartphone or something, and you're making these comments, and I'm thinking, why don't you get rid of the computer? Why don't you get rid of the smartphone? And that'll start helping paying for some of the groceries. And the thing is, too, you say, well, I'm at the library and I'm working to find a job and I have a computer here. I don't own my own computer. I'm doing it at the library. Okay, what are you doing spending 30 minutes, any of you, writing a comment, a nasty comment to prove us wrong? You're right.
We'll get a 15-page comment.
Yeah, and that
Oh
you've
my
spent
goodness.
at least 30 minutes. Instead of spending that 30 minutes going to YouTube channels and writing nasty comments, Go out and get a second job to help yourself. You see, there's so many ways to help yourself, and you're not wanting to do it. And you just want to wallow in all this. You're watching the news and all these things, and the hysteria is just going off the charts. It's so funny. I think it was the Amish read a thing about. They said the Amish aren't reacting to anything that's happening.
Yep.
I haven't been reacting too much except for what I hear on here because, and they said, what is it? Well, they don't have the news.
Well,
and they don't have all the.
And I think you're talking about the same thing I saw, which was how did the Amish, what happened with the Amish and that thing going around? How is it they didn't have any problems? Well, they all got it. They all got sick. Surprise! 99.9% of them survived and did great also, like the rest of the population, but because they weren't listening to the news,
having the fear,
having
the hysteria,
a pity party,
the anger,
they
all
got
those
sick,
emotions.
they got better, and they got on with life.
Do you know how bad these emotions will physically affect you? If you catch anything, a cold, and you have these emotions, you're going to be hospitalized with it probably. I mean, it's almost that bad.
Yeah.
It really is. And so, and you know what really, okay, you got me going here. You shouldn't have. I calmed down.
Not me this time.
I calmed down before we started, if you can imagine. We get so many letters, so many emails. We have for over 20 years. I've dealt with this stuff for almost 40 years, this type of thing.
For people who are truly
hurting and having things happen. A spouse lost their job, and at the same week, they found out that the other spouse is terminally ill. And then they lost their home on top of that. And all within just a couple of weeks' time. And they write us, and they are so upbeat. And they say, but we know God's going to take care of us. And we're doing
They're like,
this.
I did this and this and this. And I'm making it through.
And we're doing it. And we thank you guys for your tips and ideas, because we're in a spot now where we can handle this stuff financially. You know, we know what to do. I mean, it's heartbreaking things. Heartbreaking things.
People who have true problems.
Lost a child, and then they lose the job, and they get kicked out of their home. I mean, it just has us in tears half the time with some of these. And to hear some of you gripe about the prices and spend all this time making a nasty comment. Well, you're just so lucky. Get over yourself. You know, everybody says, well, what was the one said that, well, you're just so lucky because God blessed you.
Yep.
Because God blessed you.
We're going to make that another video,
and
actually.
And he hasn't blessed me. And so, should I not say anything more?
No, go ahead. Well, this will be the next video, so go ahead.
Well, he went and he blessed you, and he didn't bless me, but you're lucky that he blessed you. I'm thinking, okay, do you hear what you're saying here? And you're wondering why God's not blessing you equal amount? You're whining. You're wanting sympathy. Your pity party. Oh, the hysteria. Look what's happening in my world, and I don't know how I'm going to cope with this. And you're just so lucky that you're not having to cope with what I'm having to cope with type thing. You know what I found? It's like I had kids. 2 kids.
You still have 2 kids.
I still have 2 kids.
We're still here, Mother.
They're multiplying, reproducing and multiplying too. So I've got a lot of kids and grandkids. But it's like if I had a child that went out there, I said, okay, you have to mow the front yard, you have to mow the backyard. Okay, the one child runs out there, starts mowing, picking up the sticks, working really hard, doing the edges. I mean, he does this beautiful job, and he's working really hard. And he comes in and says, I'm all done, Mom. And I'm just amazed. And I said, well, thank you. You did a great job. Here, go get you an ice cream. The second kid says, well, do I have to? Kind of like my 13-year-old that I was talking about. Well, why do we have to mow it every week? Well, that's dumb that we have to mow it every week. Well, do I have to pick up the sticks too? Why can't somebody else pick up the sticks? That's not fair. They don't have as many sticks in the front yard as I have in the backyard. So that's not fair. And goes on and on. Finally gets out there, does half a job and says, well, I'm tired now. I don't want to do anymore. And I mean, you get this whole spiel, and he comes in and there stands his brother eating the ice cream and says, well, do I get an ice cream? No, I don't think so. And now let's think why. Because he was moaning and groaning and having the pity party and whining and frustrated and anxious and worrying and upset and the whole thing, instead of getting up and just going out and mowing the yard like his brother did. Now, why do you think God, with some of his children, is blessing some of them more than other ones? Now, that doesn't mean everything wonderful is happening in our life. We have no problems, no situations. That never means that. Sometimes it's even worse when you're doing God's will and things like that. But the blessings are kind of a different thing. It's like God says, you know, you've done a good job. You went through this, you stayed strong, and you made it through something, and I'm going to bless you. You trusted me. Your faith didn't waver. You knew that I was going to be there for you. And then the other person that's whining and caring, well, why didn't he do that for me? Because you didn't, your faith was wavering, because you were griping and whining.
Because you're griping and whining instead of trying to figure out
what to do.
Once again, back to our video that we did Wednesday night. We gave 25 ways to help beat inflation on grocery prices. Go do it. Do the work.
Stop spending your time writing comments.
Stop wasting time writing comments to me about how you can't do this and you can't do this, and get your buns out there and get to the grocery store and look for the deals. You may have, well, this is another video, but you may have to do some work to save some money. And it will be worth it. But it's your choice. It is a decision whether you're going to be the first person who says, oh, we're just so lucky because prices have increased horribly in North Carolina, or you're going to be the second person that says, I paid 77 cents for a dozen eggs yesterday. Same state. And North Carolina is not that big of a state that you can't drive to go get your groceries. We have friends that we visited in Norway. They drive once a year, 8 hours each way to Sweden, and stock up on a year's worth of groceries to save money, because groceries are a tenth of the price in Sweden that they are in Norway. And so stop with the excuses.
And a lot of this isn't luck, and it isn't even God blessing us. In one sense, he expects us to do certain things.
Yeah.
He doesn't expect us to sit on the couch and play on our computer and do stuff, and we just sit there waiting for the blessings to come. We have worked hard.
Yeah.
We worked hard.
I had to go at 7 o'clock in the morning to get the bacon for $1.50 a pound, because I was there the day before and it was a weekend sale, and I didn't see that in the ad. And he said, oh, that doesn't start till tomorrow, but he said, get here early because I only have 30 packages of bacon. Okay. So I was there at 7 o'clock in the morning when they opened up, and I got me 20 pounds of bacon for $1.50 a pound.
And you don't just do that once a month.
No.
All the time. We're working, we're figuring, we check things out. We go up and down some of the aisles of the store, checking out the clearance sections. We work at this.
Yeah.
So it's not, stop expecting it,
to fall into your lap.
Yeah,
and not do
exactly.
anything. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, guys, go watch our video in case you missed it. 25 ways to beat rising prices. The link is in the description below. Also, if you watch this long, we are giving you our Dining on a Dime cookbook ebook for free, because we're actually here to help you. Even though you don't think we're here to help you, we are. All you have to do is use coupon code DINING1 and get that ebook for free. The link is in the description below, but please go watch next our 25 ways to beat rising food prices. Visit us at livingonadime.com, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.